Ready to dominate at the plate? Blast Baseball is trusted by more major league and college teams than any other hitting solution. The Blast sensor attaches to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with every swing. Go to blastmotion.com and enter code NOWD1 at checkout to save $25. All right, everybody, let's get right into it. I'm Alan Gay, and this is Now D1 Speaks. We have got a special show today. I think it's one that's going to be very educational. I know I've certainly been looking forward to it. We have got Jennifer Pilates with us. Hey, Jennifer, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I am doing so well, and thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to kind of hop on with us. Hey, why don't you kind of get it started and just tell us who you are?
Sure. Thank you, Alan, first and foremost, for having me here. I love everything that you're doing with your podcast and how you are helping so many young athletes. It's just amazing. And I just think this is wonderful. So first and foremost, thank you. And thank you for the community allowing me to be a part of your day today. Yeah, I am a celebrity trainer, coach, mentor, and intuitive advisor, author, and top-rated podcast host. I have been helping clients around the world to transform and align body, mind, and spirit through movement, mindset, and holistic wellness so that they can live an empowered life from within.
Wow. All right. Well, perfect. I think that kind of gets it started for us. So if I'm thinking about what you really emphasize, which is transforming the body, mind, and spirit, and I'm thinking about our really core audience of uncommitted baseball prospects, how could you really align those aspects for them so that maybe it could improve their well-being or really their performance on the field?
Right. Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, when I'm getting together with people and I'm helping them, it's really getting clear and getting clarity. Because without clarity, one can't take action. And without that action, you can't make your dreams come true. So we really get clear on what it is they want. Is it something that we need to help them physically get to the next level, or is it mentally? And 9 times out of 10, it's actually both, and they intertwine together. And so we really work on that. We really work through the body to bring the emotions and the mindset together so that when the world is all around them, they can still find quiet and peace and perform at their top level, which is so imperative because even though some of your athletes are looking to be in college, of course their dreams certainly are part of the MLB and maybe even further. And so when your mindset is real clear and when you've got your emotions in line and everything is coming together to support you, then physically you're able to move to that next level.
Hey, can you give us kind of a general idea of how do you find that clarity?
Oh, it's an interesting spot. When I'm working with clients and we're in a training session, I really bring the coaching aspect and everything together. And so we take moments and we get quiet. And no one likes to be quiet, right? No one likes to just be with themselves, really, to go inward. And we take time to do that, to disengage, to tune out the rest of the world, to be able to tune into self. And it's in those moments that we're able to clear the blocks, clear things, emotions, insecurities that are keeping that individual from moving to the next level. We do that through breath work. We do that through movement. So, it sounds like crazy. I know. Someone's like, wait, what? This is like that one stop where it's like we're doing coaching and mentoring in that physical aspect all at the same time to encompass everything. And that's where that full transformation comes back to that body, mind, and spirit. I'm able to get it all there 360 for that person.
Makes sense. I love it when you were saying that when you're working with clients, the majority of your clients, are they in person or are you also able to help people either virtually or just online?
I do a lot of virtual, and I was actually, this is going to date me back. I was the first person, there was something called Skype, everyone, that was really big many, many moons ago. I was the very first person to ever start with online virtual fitness. And so I was training. I had a lot of professional athletes, a lot of actors and actresses around the world. And so that it became part of my business. And so I was one of the first people to do that, was written up in the Wall Street Journal about it. And so it just sort of took off. And so I still, to this day, most of my people are virtual because they just love that aspect. I do and can be flown on location or wherever someone needs me, or someone is local to where I am. I do travel quite a bit. Then we do in person as well. But 9 times out of 10, it's on virtual right now with all the training that we're doing.
Absolutely. And that makes sense. Gives you such a larger footprint. And guess what, Jennifer? I absolutely remember Skype. Enjoyed Skype as well.
Me too.
So yeah. Hey, if someone had wanted to find you today and see what type of services that you provide and just wanted to reach out and contact you, what's the best way?
Sure. The best way to get a hold of me is my website, which is jenniferpilates.com. And you can request a free consultation with me. I love to have conversations with all of my clients beforehand. And we really talk about, what are your goals? What are your needs? Where can I be best of assistance to you? And every program is customized to each individual because every person is different. What your goal is, what your clarity and action that you need to take is going to be very different from someone else. So everything is customizable. Again, it's jenniferpilates.com. And, send me an email. We'll set up a free consultation and just chat and get to know one another.
Perfect. Hey, earlier you mentioned when you were talking about clarity, really the mental side and the physical side. And as you can imagine, young athletes, the demands of a sport, it's not only physically grueling, but it's certainly mentally grueling as well. What kind of advice could you give that could really balance those two aspects together?
And I agree with you. It really is grueling, and it really is a mind game. And that mind game equals your mindset. And your mindset equals how in control of your emotions are you? Because your emotions will take over at any moment. It's the last inning, 2 strikes. What are we going to do? Situations, these are real, real important moments where you've got to be quiet and confident in your body. And so I would say working with your mindset, working on meditation. And meditation, some people will poo-poo it. And I say meditation is what resonates with you. One of my meditations is when I'm walking. I do incredible meditations when I'm walking. So it's not always a standard practice. And that's something else that I work with clients on. What really resonates for you? And then we set that practice up. So meditation, super important. Really being able to journal is super important. And also visualization. And this is like something that's so important I work with all my clients on is I want you to visualize your outcome, not where you are today, not how you're going to get there. I just want you to visualize that outcome, because the more we can visualize it, the more we can feel it, the more that we get that sensation through every cell of your body, we're going to imprint that on your subconscious. And when we can get in and work on your subconscious level, we pull that outcome to you. You don't run for it, it comes to you. And so that subconscious work that I do with clients is so, it's like, it's the holy grail. It's that missing piece that a lot of people miss in their training programs.
Thank you for your support by listening to Now D1 Speaks. If you are a prospect or a coach and would like to be heard, please reach out to Alan Gay to schedule an appearance. The easiest way to contact Alan is on X, formerly known as Twitter. His handle is @now_D1. Now D1 Speaks is a great platform to be heard. We have had many prospects commit after appearing as a guest. Are you ready to commit? Contact Now D1 Speaks today.
Great advice. Meditation, journaling, and visualization. And I got to tell you, Jennifer, I love listening to you. You're so positive and upbeat. You got a great voice and just a great way about you. And not only do you come across as an expert in your industry, but when the things that you're saying and the way you're able to really express it, I tell you what, we're very, very fortunate to have you on today. So thank you so much again for taking time out to join us.
Thank you, Alan. That means so much. Well, I'm so passionate about being able to help others and serve others, because along my journey, there were so many people that helped me. And my mission was always, if I could give back to one person, if I could help one person out of pain, if I could help one person, to find clarity, if I could help one person to get on that right road to achieve their dream. And, it was coincidence that at one point, all these different athletes just sort of found me. It wasn't something that I was looking for, but I was so honored to be able to work and help because, athletes are very special and they have that drive and they just want to help get the pieces put together in the right way. And I'm always so honored to be a part of that process.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little about your journey. I think you
Mm-hmm.
probably have had some obstacles that you have had to overcome. Or do you feel comfortable in maybe talking about any one of those?
Sure, sure. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm human and we all have challenges. And I always say, we all have those roadblocks and we all have those moments where we are being pivoted or rerouted. And it's not always comfortable and it can be scary. And I always say, growth doesn't happen when you're in your moment of success. The growth happened to get you to the moment of success. And so all of the moments and the trials and the tribulations, and my major one that happened in 1997 when I was in a traumatic car accident, that brought me out of a thriving corporate world where, I can definitely say now looking back, it was very ego based. It was very matrix. It was very, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to college. You're supposed to get this job. You're supposed to have your 401k. You're supposed to, ABCD. And I was not that person. I am a very outside the box person. I'm the person that's never going to walk in the front door. I'm going to go around the back door and I want the journey and I want to see these different things that are happening. And, God knew that for me. And I was on, it's not that I was on the wrong path, but that path was being closed out at that time. And the accident, when that happened, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't drive. I was in doctor's offices 8 hours a day, from psychologists to therapists to speech linguists, you name it. And so that's another reason why I resonate with my clients so much. I've been there. I've seen it. I've experienced it. It's scary. I can hold your hand because I've been there. And it was in those moments that I found Pilates. It was through that rehab that I rehabbed with Pilates. So that's how I became a rehab specialist with Pilates. And it was during very scary times. I had, the head concussion. I know what happened to me with that. I know my emotions and how everything flip-flopped. One crazy story, I remember at that time I was living in Boulder, Colorado. And at the time it was the mecca of holistic industry. So Pilates was very natural to them out there. Being a country bumpkin from Cape Cod, which a lot of up and coming baseball players know because a lot of them go there for the summertime. I didn't know about Pilates. I didn't know a lot about anything holistic. So I was blessed to be there. I was guided. And I truly believe that. I might not have believed it in that moment. It's hard to see through the forest when you're in the middle of something. And that's when it's so important to have the help of someone who's been there, who can help you through it, who knows the path. And, thankfully I had those people surrounding me. And through the car accident, I received a little bit of a settlement back in the day, and it was just enough to go to the Pilates program. At that point in time, I couldn't return to my job. I attempted it. I worked part-time. It wasn't working out. I was specializing with Alzheimer's disease, running a retirement community. The business wasn't doing well. They were going public and changing. And no one realized where my mental state was because I specialized in Alzheimer's disease and because I was with Alzheimer patients every day. So I and my health was slipping through the cracks because I didn't even recognize it because of the surroundings that I was in. I ended up stepping away from that business and I went fully into the Pilates program and was blessed because who knew that the best, the Harvard of all Pilates schools was right there in Boulder. I mean, when you say the universe is always there for you and has your back and is planning your every step before you make that next step, that's truly how that process was for me. And I was blessed with it every step of the way. And so I rehabbed with Pilates for a year and then started teaching myself. My mission being, if I can help one person to not be in the pain that I felt. I had soft tissue damage from the base of my skull down through my spine into my pelvis. It's terrifying and it's scary. And when you're having to put yourself back together, literally, body, mind, and spirit, that's what I went through. And so that's how my specialization of being able to help people transform and align. And that really all came to be. And I can now look back, and I've looked back on that moment many times, and I can thank that person, that hit me during that car accident, because they literally changed my life. Pilates changed my life and brought me to a place that I wouldn't have otherwise been and wouldn't be today.
Wow, thank you for going through that. So that was 1997. Do you have
Yes.
any lingering effects today from that accident?
Every once in a while, I have a little SI stuff that peaks up now and again. Nothing horribly so. I've really worked on myself a lot over the years, and I take care of myself, and I always stay ahead. So I continue with my Pilates practice. I take good care of my body, whether that's with massage or acupressure or acupuncture. I work with something called light therapy patches, which help to, you'll love this, Alan, actually. It helps to regrow and regenerate stem cells in your body naturally. So it uses your body's light to reflect off this patch, that your light reflection begins to heal your body, regenerate your stem cells. So I've had bone regrowth. I've had muscle and tissue regrowth. I can, in a moment, if I'm having pain and inflammation, I can release that by simply placing the patch on. And it's non-transdermal. So again, nothing goes into your body. There's no chemicals. There's no nothing. But it's been an incredible additive. It's been an incredible piece in my toolbox to be able to work with. And I've been working with those for 14 years now. And all my athletes, I mean, they're like, Jennifer, patch me up. They'll call me and be like, patch girl, I need some more patches. It's just so great, because it's something that it isn't a Band-Aid, and nor is the work that I do with people. I believe that we need to get to the core and the root of whatever any issue is, be it mentally or be it physically. And then let's remove it, right? Let's remove that block. Let's remove that, belief that doesn't serve you. Let's release the muscle tissue. Let's work on all that. And the patches are just something that coincide with that. And that's part of that holistic wellness aspect.
Okay, well, fantastic, Patch Girl. And I'm telling you, anybody that wants to get in touch with Patch Girl, her name is Jennifer Pilates, and you can reach her at jenniferpilates.com. And I got to say, Jennifer, I mean, you're an absolute delight. And there's obviously, you have a very, very deep connection with nature and the universe, and it's very, very inspiring. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, how could some of our young athletes really tap into that energy and kind of help them to be successful as well? And when I talk about success, hey, it's in all aspects of their life, but maybe specifically, how can they mentally focus, to be more productive on the field?
Mm-hmm. And some people are they're going to totally freeze up when I say this. It's almost doing nothing and stepping back, because everybody's like, here's your program, here's your training, here's your practice, here's your this, here's your supplements. And I would say, just make sure that you are carving out time for yourself, whether that is go sitting at the field, closing your eyes and envisioning the outcome of that game tonight, and taking that quiet moment for yourself. And again, tuning out and going inward. Is that going and walking on the beach and just being alone and listening to the waves and allowing that to be part of your meditation, and envisioning, as you hear every wave crash, that everything that is ever bothering you, the worries, everything is going out to sea. It's sitting next to a tree and just being, right? Like just being, and maybe just watching the world around you. It's in those moments that someone can truly find so much triumph in their life and tune into that to get them to the next level, because only the 1% do that. And if they want to be a part of that 1%, that's the key. It's the mindset and tuning in with your emotions. It's really, that's that 1%. That's that key, that special sauce, so to speak, that people will speak of.
That's so powerful, Jennifer. I mean, it kind of keeps going back to the real, I think of it almost as the three cores, it's that meditation, the journaling, and the visualization. I love it. I mean, it's pretty easy to follow along. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your podcast. Why don't you tell us, hey, what's the name of your podcast and what got you into podcasting? And really, maybe what's the most enjoyable thing or enjoyable aspect about it?
Oh, thank you. Well, my podcast is called Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. And I bring together people from all walks of life, from celebrities to healers to people like you and I, and who come and they share their journeys. Everybody has had that moment of that trial and tribulation, the journey that they've had to living an empowered life from within. And so everyone comes on and they share their stories and they're so impactful. And, every day I feel probably just like you, Alan, so blessed to be able to give someone a platform so that they can share their journey and help inspire and empower other people. And so it's a very uplifting podcast. We just have, and I'm blessed to have met so many incredible people like yourself. I feel so grateful and honored to be here today and be a part of your community. And so my podcast came about kind of like my Pilates story. During the pandemic, I was locked down in an area not of choice. And I was struggling. I was frustrated. I was in a place I didn't want to be, but at the same time, I needed to be there and I was helping and caretaking with family. And so it was one of those like, you knew you were doing the right thing, but God, it's just, you didn't want to be in this place. You didn't want to, you're trying to, I'm trying to take all of the work that I help other people do and employ it to myself. And so what did I do? I reached out to Tony Robbins, who is an incredible person. And I did some work with Tony. And it was during, I'm going to cry, it was during this most incredible breakthrough moment that we had, which is why I say mindset is so important. And I heard, you're going to do a podcast, not from Tony, not from, it came to me like, you're going to do a podcast. And I was like, yay, I'm going to do a podcast. And then I'm like, what is a podcast? Alan, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything. I just knew that I needed to take action. So I bought a professional microphone. I sat it on this table and I looked at it and I thought, I'm super excited. I'm going to immerse myself in figuring this out. And then I heard, not yet. It's not time yet, because I had so much going on with my family and I had so much trials and tribulations between the world being locked down and family in hospitals. And that is where my heart and soul needed to be in that moment in time. But what the universe gave me was, through every challenging moment, there's always going to be a breakthrough if you're willing to see it. And I was given a light at the end of the tunnel. It was there for me. It just wasn't in that moment. So that's really how it happened. It was about 6 months later from that first moment that at that time there was an app that came out called, now I can't remember it. Oh, but it was an audio app and everyone would get on and talk. And I jumped in with a bunch of podcasters and I was sharing my story and the guy said, so how long has it been since you haven't done your podcast? And if anybody's listening, that's all that it took for that mindset shift to happen. And I'll tell you, within 24 hours, I was on it. Everything was up and going and it was just full speed ahead. I sit with a year's wait list for people that want to be a part of the show. And I've been blessed ever since. And it just means so much to be able to be with people like you, Alan, and to be able to share stories and to be able to help and nurture people around the world.
Absolutely. What an awesome story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so that's Empowered Within. And I've got to believe it's on every major platform out there, from Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I mean, you name it, it's out there. Anyone can find it.
Absolutely. We're everywhere. And even going to jenniferpilates.com, I've got everything set up right there. So you can immediately today start, just listening to episodes, even if you want it to be done that easily for you. So I try to keep things simple for everybody.
Researching college baseball programs should be easy. College Baseball Insights provides data-driven tools to help student athletes, parents, coaches, and recruiters make the best informed decisions when researching college baseball programs. Go to collegebaseballinsights.com and use referral code NOWD1-10 at checkout to save 10% on monthly, quarterly, and annual subscriptions. Time is precious. Reclaim your time with College Baseball Insights.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more before we wrap it up. I'd really like to talk a little bit more about setbacks, just injuries and so forth. And with your background working with so many athletes, I mean, that's just part of life. There's going to be setbacks and occasionally there's just going to be injuries. And you
Right.
mentioned earlier, really talking about working holistically.
Hmm.
If you could maybe just kind of expand on that, thinking about the healing process holistically, kind of
Right.
help us to understand that a little bit better.
Absolutely. So I always like to say the setback is really a set up. And it's that mindset shift that we have to believe that this is not happening to me. This injury isn't who you are. Everything is happening to us to help us. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us. And when we can, again, level up and have that mindset and step out of the moment, like I say, absolutely have a moment, like scream, yell, do whatever you need to do. Tell you what, I'm giving you 90 seconds, go for it. And a lot of people will say, why 90 seconds? And I say, because that's how the Navy SEALs train. And people look at me and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, I can say no more, but I can tell you that. Right. So I'm like, so you get 90 seconds. You want a pity party? Go. Timing it. We're going, we're yelling, we're screaming. I don't care. Do you need to break something? Let's do this. And then it's done. Because you have to release the emotions. You'll see where I'm going with this. If we store the emotions in our body, that's storing dis-ease in our cellular bodies. Dis-ease is what brings disease. And disease and dis-ease coming out of our bodies, the hurts, the pain, that's all, we can trace it all back to an emotional dis-ease in our body somewhere, which goes back to the mindset, which goes back to what are we not looking at, again, needing to tune in. And so that's that holistic process of going, okay, let's feel it, but let's release it. You don't need to sit in it. Great. We're having pain. I've got inflammation. Awesome. Let's address it. Let's work through it. But let's be pissed about it. It's okay. It's okay to be upset. But then maybe it's about going, I needed to take a moment to slow down because I was getting too far ahead of myself. My mind and my body weren't in alignment and they need to catch up. And so there's that aspect of the holisticness. The other aspect, that we work with is really getting to understand that when we can connect on that subconscious level to the conscious level of the body and understand what's going on and acknowledge that within our body isn't of disservice for us. Our body isn't against us. Our body and any pain and discomfort and injury that comes is a way in which the universe is saying, hey, we have an issue. We need to reroute for a minute. Something's out of alignment. And so when I work with people, it's my job to say, okay, what is out of alignment? Is it really because you've been overdoing it and there isn't enough stretching, there isn't enough Pilates going on that we need to readjust so that we can get you further, when you get back on the field and do what you're doing, which is 9 times out of 10, honestly, Alan, that's usually what it is. And the holisticness that I love to see players being open to it because they generally come in and they're kind of grumbling. And I always say, it's within the first 5 minutes, I can get someone onto my team. And that means like on point. And so it's usually I do a couple of tests with them to show them like, hi, I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. I'm really here because I want to see you succeed. Not only do I want to see you succeed in what you think you want to do, I think you can go further because I can see it in you and I want to get you there. And so we work on that. So through the Pilates movement, through the mindset, through showing that meditation isn't always just sitting there and being quiet and saying, Om. It can be, and I can do that too. But we bring it all together. We bring the Reiki energetic healing into it. We bring the patches into it because the patches are something that I can physically give to them so that in a moment's notice that they always have them, so that they have their toolbox. Because I'm all about, I want to set you up for success and let you fly. I'll always be here for you. But I know you don't always need me, but just to know that I'm always here for you is important too. And so that goes back to empowering through that holistic wellness program and saying, I'm going to set you up for success to empower yourself, to make the right decisions for yourself, to listen to yourself, and to know that it's okay to tune out, to tune in, and ask for help when you need it.
It's big time stuff, Jennifer. I love the way that you're helping people so they can just literally help themselves. That's
Hmm.
perfect. I cannot thank you enough for coming on. But before you leave, I really would like to kind of put you on the spot just a little bit and maybe ask you one last question if you have time.
Of course, Alan.
As you know, our core audience is really uncommitted baseball prospects,
Hmm.
but we have so many young athletes that really tune into this show. I would really like to ask you, regardless of sport, just a
Hmm.
young athlete. And when I say young, I'm kind of thinking about somebody who is just entering high school.
Sure.
And they've got drive, they've got passion, and they want to be good at their sport really for as long as they can be. What kind of advice could you give a young athlete today that could really help them with their successful path for as long as they could be, quite honestly, successful?
No, I think that's an excellent question. I love that. So I always say I've worked with people from the ages of 8 to 88. So I've seen it all across the board, and blessed to work with some really young athletes actually on the ski team, which was an experience. And I think something for any person of any age, and you have a passion, you have a dream that's been placed in your heart, and you feel that, and you're like, I know this is what I want to do. I want you to know that it's possible, because anything that's been put in your heart and you can feel that, that's for you. So it's there. That middle piece is, what are you going to do to take the steps to get there? That's your action. And the action is, how are you going to take care of yourself? And what is your lifestyle? So if your mission, if your passion is that, you are going to be in the NFL or the NBA or the NHL, or on the Olympic team, or a tennis player, or golf, whatever your dream is, pickleball, gymnastics. I don't want to leave anyone out. Hockey. Did I leave? No, I didn't leave it out. But you get my point. Whatever it is, you have a choice every moment of every day. And so you're with your friends, it's Friday, and you're like, I really know I need to go train, but everybody's doing A, B, and C. Okay. But you really want to do A, B, and C too, but you really want to train. If you've trained every day this week, can you not at least go and do a little bit of training and then balance it out so that you can go be with your friends? Because you can. There's this balance that needs to happen, and it does need to start when you're younger. And that actually is really working on your mindset, and it actually is showing yourself, tuning into yourself to say, I'm going to keep my promise to you. I've made the promise of this dream, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take those action steps. I'm also going to take care of my heart and what sets me on fire, which is having fun in life and growing in life. Doing both and having balance is super important. Knowing when it's playtime and knowing when it's work time. Knowing how to do both, because you can do both. It's not one or the other. If you throw yourself down and it's solely just work, 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 you'll burn yourself out, and you're going to be unhappy, and you're going to lose your passion for the dream that was given to you, the dream that was meant for you. And I say this with compassion, knowing that I've done that myself. And I'm sure Alan knows other people that have done that. And we don't want you to do that. So we want to encourage you to take the time to tune out, to tune in to what's going to get you to that next level, while also taking time to be you and to have fun, because that's what you're here for. You are here to live a life of abundance and happiness and enjoy it. So if you have a bag of chips today, great. I don't want you to beat yourself up for it. Tomorrow, you're not going to have a bag of chips. But if you are going to have a bag of chips, I want you to enjoy every darn chip. I want you to savor it. And tomorrow, you're going to savor the broccoli and the spinach and everything else just as much. And that's how you take care of yourself. And that's how you show yourself that you love yourself enough to go that extra mile.
Well, Jennifer, I have to tell you, I have enjoyed and savored every minute of our conversation. You're an absolute treasure. I got to tell you, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us.
Oh, thank you, Alan. This has been so much fun. Again, I'm so honored to be here and be a part of your community. I love what you're doing. And I would love to continue the conversation with anyone that would love to. They can head over to my website, jenniferpilates.com. And yeah, would love to stay in touch.
Well, I hope we can stay in touch, Jennifer. I would love to be able to reach out to you again. Maybe at one point I can get on your backlog of guests for Empowered Within. I'd love to be a part of your show at some point as well.
Absolutely. I bet we could get you on the VIP list, Alan.
Now we're talking. And I got to tell you, with that, I can't think of a better way to end this show. Again, thank you so much, Jennifer. And for everyone that was able to tune in, thank you so much for your support as well.
Hey, let me ask you something. Are you ready to dominate at the plate this season? Blast Baseball is the #1 hitting improvement solution, trusted by more major league, college, and travel ball teams than any other. The Blast sensor attaches to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with every swing. Metrics are automatically sent to a smartphone app, generating insights that allow you to analyze and improve your hitting like never before. Go to blastmotion.com and enter code NOWD1 and you will save $25 at checkout. Unlock your potential with Blast.